LaunchBox Ladies program today. Give me 1 second here. I just have to adjust a setting here. All right, so welcome to today's LaunchBox Ladies program. Today's discussion is going to be focused on bridging the social distance gap in close contact businesses. And you're going to hear from 3 young female entrepreneurs who are managing some new challenges in their traditional close contact businesses. So we're excited to bring them to you and have them share their stories with you. So we hope that you'll please mention us on social media today. So you can do that using @LV_Launchbox or #LaunchBox. And please note that we will be recording today's webinar. So we want you to be aware of that. I also want to mention that at the end of the program, for anyone that would like to stay on for some LaunchBox Ladies networking time, that at the end we will enable everyone's mics and videos that stays on so that we can have a conversation with each other and do some so-called virtual in-person networking. And lastly, I just want to mention that we will be taking questions. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask any of the participants, feel free to add them into the Q&A box and we'll be monitoring those too. And so with that, I would like to introduce to you our Chancellor, Dr. Tina Q. Richardson. Dr. Richardson's been the Chancellor at Penn State Lehigh Valley since 2015, and she has been the founder and the inspiration behind LaunchBox Ladies. She's been involved in leadership initiatives for women throughout her career, starting at Lehigh University. She's got a doctorate in counseling psychology. She's been the recipient of numerous awards for her educational leadership. She serves on several regional community boards. And she was recently the recipient of the 2020 Women of Influence Award. So with that, Dr. Richardson, I turn the program over to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Annette. Hello, everyone. And thank you for engaging with us for LaunchBox Ladies. The event today is a conversation about close contact businesses, those businesses that we missed so much during the first few months of COVID-19's shutdown. The restaurants, hair salons, boutiques, and the other businesses that were either shut down or forced to completely change their operations in order to bridge the social distance gap through the pandemic. So many of these close contact businesses are small businesses. In fact, there are nearly 1 million of these businesses in Pennsylvania. Nearly 1 million in this incredibly difficult position. And here in the Lehigh Valley, about half of our businesses employ less than 6 people. We need to find a safe way to get back to work for everybody. And needless to say, finding ways to engage with their customers in these close contact businesses while providing some of the high-touched services in a socially distanced environment is very difficult. But these business leaders, the ones we're going to talk with today, were very successful in redefining how they perform their business services and the operations. And I know that we're all eager to hear from them. So what I'd like to do at this point is just introduce our moderator for today's event, Katie DeFlori. Katie is a digital communications and startup specialist for Invent Penn State. She also works part-time managing the Democracy Group podcast network for the McCourtney Institute for Democracy at Penn State. Courtney has a tremendous amount of experience hosting and producing podcasts featuring entrepreneurs. And so we thought she would be the best choice for who we'd have moderate our event today. So Katie, thank you so much for being with us, and let us begin our program.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Richardson, for that introduction. I'm so excited and honored to be here today with all of you, and I'm glad that programs like this are able to take place in a virtual format. So we have three great panelists here for you today to discuss bridging the social distance gap in their close contact businesses. So what I'll do is I'll go through and introduce each of them one by one, and then we'll dive right in. So first I'd like to introduce Shelby Lawson. She is the owner of Lawson Accessories, and she previously worked as a procedure coordinator at 2 Lehigh Valley hospitals, where she thought she would stay until retirement. But in 2016, the creative side within her took over her life, causing a major pivot and prompting her to launch Lawson Accessories full-time, and she hasn't looked back since. And she firmly believes that challenges, changes, setbacks, and disappointments are catalysts for amazing personal growth. So welcome, Shelby, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Next, I'd like to introduce Andrea Lee. She is the owner, founder, and an educator and level 3 stylist at AList Salon. She obtained her cosmetology license from the Vision Academy, a Paul Mitchell partner school. And Andrea believes everyone should feel fabulous, as they should. She opened AList Salon in 2013, a place known for its flexibility, honesty, and outstanding service. She holds a master's certification in color, balayage, blonding, color correction, color melting, and highlighting. And her favorite time of the day is when she has a bowl of color and paintbrush in her hand. Welcome, Andrea, and thank you for today.
Thanks for having me.
And last but not least, I'd like to introduce Sam Eunice. She is the front of house manager at Aladdin Restaurant, which was established in 1981 by Ed and Violet Eunice. It is a family-owned and operated restaurant serving authentic Middle Eastern cuisine in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and it has been doing so for almost 40 years, complete with belly dancing every Saturday night. She was born and raised in the restaurant industry, and Sam received a bachelor's in hotel and restaurant management from East Stroudsburg University, and she's since then helped take on and expand the family business. Welcome, Sam.
Hello.
All right, and just a reminder for everyone who is watching, if you have any questions for any of these three panelists, you can enter your questions in the Q&A box, and I'll go through all of the submitted questions at the end. All right, so let's get started. Shelby, Andrea, and Sam, it's great to have all three of you here to discuss your experience running your close contact businesses during the pandemic and how you've been able to pivot your business models. But before we dive too deep, I'd like to have each of you sort of introduce your company and say a bit about your business before COVID-19. So Shelby, could you start things off for us?
Absolutely. My name is Shelby Lawson. I am the owner and designer at Lawson Accessories. I'm located at 13 East Elizabeth Avenue in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Before COVID, Lawson Accessories really was a bustling place with ladies coming in for measurements for custom sewing, beginner sewing lessons. We had Tuesday Tea and Talk, a number of events going on, and that's what was going on before COVID. And then, of course, once COVID hit, all of that stopped.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Sam, could you go next?
Sure. My family owns Aladdin Restaurant in Allentown, PA, and we're family owned and operated, serving authentic Middle Eastern cuisine. And before COVID, I mean, we were set to have one of our best years. 2019 was great as well. We have belly dancing every Saturday night. It's like a packed dining room. People get up and dance with the belly dancer. We're BYOB. We do a lot of like showers and baptisms, rehearsal dinners, stuff like that. So good for private parties as well. We have a separate dining room for that. And so we were full steam ahead before COVID. So luckily for restaurants, we were able to at least offer, takeout during the first initial, March, April, and May. I know for some of you, you may have been completely shut.
Yeah, definitely a lot of large group gatherings that had to be postponed, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Andrea, could you go next?
Sure. My name is Andrea Lee. I'm the owner and operator of AList Salon in Bethlehem at 128 West 4th Street. You can find me on social media at AList Salon Bethlehem. So we are a full service hair salon, and before COVID hit, we were also set to have one of our biggest years, which we're really excited about. And we got shut down like right at the peak of the peak season, and it was just a real blow. We also, have events regularly and different customer events that we try to do throughout the year, which came to a complete halt. So we weren't able to do the 4 that we had that were coming during the months that we shut down.
Yeah, all 3 of you have businesses that have had to make a lot of pivots, and so I'm interested to hear what efforts do you all take to stay connected with your customers during the past few months when you haven't been able to have your business physically be open? And if there was one thing that you did do that you think was really creative in sort of solving that issue and staying connected with your customers, what would that be? Andrea, do you want to kick things off with that?
Sure. So I feel like at first I didn't think it was real, and I was kind of a panic. Like, oh my goodness, are you serious? We really shut down. Oh, well, it's only going to be for 14 days. That's fine. I could do 14 days. But then once we realized the severity of it, going forward, I think, what I did is I called all of my customers that I had scheduled on the appointment book. And I'm like, well, let's reschedule you for 2 weeks just in case. And I kept doing that every week and every 2 weeks and every 4 weeks then that it turned into. So I found myself with a lot of free time on my hands. And I think one of the creative things that I did for my company is I was in front of my guests in social media. I was creating at-home how-to videos, just trying to lift people's spirits, creating contests. And that was a big help. And I was doing that on a regular basis just to kind of stay in front of my customers.
Great. Yeah. You also use social media to sort of stay connected with your customers.
Absolutely. Social media and phone conversation and text messages. And it's like, don't worry, we're still here. We're going to open eventually. Don't worry.
Right. Yeah. Sam and Shelby, did either of you use social media to stay connected, or what were your sort of efforts to stay connected with your customers?
I made a lot of personal phone calls. I made a very conscious effort to stay visible on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I even did instructional YouTube videos just to remain relevant, because, out of sight, out of mind happens a lot. And so I didn't want that to happen. The cool thing was a lot of my clients actually began to reach out to me to make sure I was still okay, and if I needed anything, or, make sure that my doors were still open. It forced me to have a more a virtual, or I started selling on my website, which I had been hesitant about in the beginning, but COVID forced me to be more creative. It forced me to be a little more visible and more outspoken, and to sort of toot my own horn a little more, which I wasn't accustomed to doing.
Yeah, and it's cool because it sounds like you had sort of a two-way relationship there with them, where it wasn't just you sending stuff to them, but people were also reaching out to you, which is great. Sam, how did the restaurant sort of suffice and stay connected with your customers?
So we also used social media a lot heavily. I read, in the beginning of COVID that few articles that everyone's screen time had shot up. So obviously people are home from work and home from school and all that. So we figured the best way to stay connected was through social media. One of the biggest things that we felt was a creative, push to kind of draw more than just our regular takeout. My sisters and I came up with doing like a family deal package, because we kind of thought about it. It would be nice to have like a discounted dinner for the whole family, everyone sitting at home together, that kind of thing. So we came up with the Aladdin family meal, and it really took off, and it carried us all through April and into May. We made some changes to it, did a couple different ones, and that was, a really good success for us. We actually boosted it on Facebook, and it, people kept calling in about it. We heard about the Aladdin family. We're like, whoa, this thing really took off. So we had to scramble a little bit, which felt nice because we haven't done that in a bit. So yeah, that was a good thing that we did.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
such a blessing to have all the supporters that we did, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Are you still doing the family package,
Yes,
Sam?
we are. So we're actually announcing another one that we're starting August 1st. So we've tweaked it. A couple people have asked for a vegan version of it because we have a lot of vegetarian vegan food. So we're going to run an Aladdin family meal with a few changes to it because we just want to kind of refresh it. And we're going to add some different appetizers into it from the previous one. And then we're going to do a vegan Aladdin family meal.
Oh,
And we're
I'm
also,
excited to try it.
yeah, you guys should definitely
Hmm.
Aladdin plug.
That's awesome. So it sounds like all three of you have made sort of these iterations that originally you thought were going to be temporary, but now you're sort of figuring out, oh, this is lasting a little bit longer. So now that things are starting to open up, but it's still sort of unclear how long that'll last for. What are you doing differently to bridge the social distance gap in what is traditionally considered a close contact business now that things are open? Andrea, do you want to start off?
Sure. So, bridging the gap, I made some videos just saying, we're open, we're safe, we have our masks, we're cleaning in between clients. It was hard because, again, close contact business, we normally have, a bunch of people in here all at once. So just to kind of reassure customers, it is safe. We are spacing out appointments. We're not going to have as many people in here at one time that we normally would. We're cleaning in between each guest, and we'll rebook your appointment before the appointment's over, just so you're spending less time at the front desk, just to help everybody feel more comfortable. That's one way. In social media, hair tips and tricks all over social media.
Yeah. It's one of the biggest sort of hurdles to jump over is not convincing, but assuring people that it is safe and you are taking precautions.
Absolutely.
Experience with that as well. Sorry, Sam, did you want to answer the question as well? What sort of experience have you had with reopening?
So when we went to yellow phase June 5th and outdoor dining was passed, we have never offered outdoor dining at Aladdin. I know none of you have been there. Our dining room has this like one of a kind type feel of a place. So we really pride ourselves on having the inside dining experience. There's like the sky is like starlit and comfy sofas and that kind of thing. So it goes with the theme of the restaurant. But when that passed, we had to pivot. So we ran and got a ton of patio tables, and we blocked off a big part of our parking lot and set up, I think we did like 10 or 12 tables. And they're 6 feet apart, of course. And outdoor dining sort of began. And then its biggest hurdle was how far it is from the kitchen and 2 heavy doors in the way. And but we've been making it work, and our customers have been very appreciative of that. So that was the biggest thing that we had to change from the get. And we've been using it all. I have tables coming in tonight that are going to be sitting out there. And on the weekends, it's been good because you do have the people that, even though now we're in green, it's just if you're immune compromised, but you still want to come out to dinner, if you're still a little hesitant, the outdoor dining has that element of like, okay, you're still, it cuts your chances. So of, God forbid getting it. But yeah, so we did that. And then we also offer our menus on a QR card, which I've just reordered some more. So that basically you just use your phone and scan the QR code. So you're not touching a menu. We're not handing you a menu. If you need one, we have disposable ones if you request one, but for the most part, people have just been using the QR codes, and that's been like a quick, easy way to, to alleviate more contact. And also, if you want disposable silverware, packaged silverware, or if you're okay with, we're just giving people the option. We basically, I'm in the hospitality industry, so at the same time, we do want to be as hospitable as possible. You know what I'm saying, and not make it feel like a very cold and, well, we are distant, but environment, so you still want to have that, it's where it's, you can relax and have a good time as well at the same time. So yeah, just a couple of challenges but the outdoor dining has really been great. When people call, hey, do you have outdoor seating? We're like, yes.
Yep.
So it's been like, yes, please come in. So, that's, it gives us a chance to kind of tap into more customers than we've been able to before. So.
Yeah, and I love the whole QR thing. Now you see that more often. And I'm like, oh, restaurants should have done this so long ago. And now they're kind of transitioning over to that. And it's very, very convenient.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you're doing that.
One of the things that I had to do was make sure, because I am a very close contact business, I had to make sure if someone ordered something from me, I would package it neatly and place it in the hallway, and they didn't have to come into the shop. I had hand sanitizer as well as gloves available before and after entering, because I was making an amazing amount of masks. So I have those available for my clients. My online business took off during COVID. I created a candle line from my mother's recipes. I contacted a candle maker and I sent her our family recipes, and she recreated them with soy and essential oils. And those have really taken off. So
Thanks.
very proud of that. And it's just been, for my business, COVID has been really good for us. We tapped into a deeper creative side. It forced us to adjustments that probably we should have made before COVID. So we're very happy with the way things have turned out, even though we're not able to hug our clients and customers and make them feel welcome. I write personal notes to them when they pick up their packages. I've trusted my clients to measure themselves and send in their measurements so that I can still create custom pieces for them. So when we are able to go out, they'll be ready to go. They'll have their outfits ready. But it's been a challenge, but we're facing those challenges head on and looking forward to what's next.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like all three of you, and from what I've been hearing of businesses that have been succeeding during this time, is really embracing the virtual push and finding what things you can do virtually, and finding creative solutions like the QR code on the menu. I think that's great. I've seen some restaurants doing paper products so they can throw them away each time, but that's not very sustainable. So I like the
Yeah,
QR.
that was the other thing. We have takeout menus on hand. Like we always have, a nice stack of them on hand. But then once you realize that you're using them for your dine-in people, and then people are taking them to go, it's like, to spend money right now on doing that is just not, because we usually print them in like 10,000s or, a large amount. So.
Right. So it's cool that this has sort of made some businesses more virtually accessible and more sustainable in some aspects. So you guys have sort of touched on this already, but if you want to dive a little deeper into what the reaction has been from your customers and what changes you're seeing in the way that your customers interact with your business. Sam, if you want to start.
Sure. Our customers have been amazing throughout all of this. My parents opened Aladdin in '81, so we have a lot of lifelong customers and that are more like family at this point. And so from March 14th, when we shut our doors, throughout that time, the first 2 to 3 weeks, month, it's been people that were calling and just, hey, how are you guys? I want to buy a gift card over the phone. I want to do whatever I can to make sure that you guys are doing well and get through this. And we've had the same people that order takeout from us like 3 nights a week. So just the feeling of support from our people, like our core group of customers. That they're there. Obviously, we see them, throughout the years. It's a, hey, how you doing? That kind of thing. But it's like, wow, like they're there. It felt like warmth from, to receive that from them. That was, we weren't expecting that. So it was sort of like the silver lining of this whole thing. And they've been great. And even we've done everything contactless for takeout. Call ahead, pay over the phone, pop your trunk, that type thing. If people do want to come in, and it's, we're trying to keep it as the least amount of contact as possible, but they have been great. Everyone comes in, mask on, and no, we haven't really had any issues, to date. So they've been super appreciative of this time for us.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like my customers have been so supportive and understanding with all the new changes. So for us, we started to spread appointments out a little bit more. And instead of opening at 10, we're opening at 8. And instead of booking, 2 or 3 appointments, maybe we have 1 or maybe 2 at a time. And they're actually kind of glad to get the personal attention when nobody else is kind of in the salon. A little bit, because they feel a little bit more pampered. And of course we try to make it, an even better experience, even though we have to wear our masks all day. But everybody has been wonderful about it. I wouldn't say anybody's given a hard time about the mask or the sanitization practices that we have to do, or even like we're only allowed to have 7 people in here at a time. So, and that's fine. Everybody's been great.
My clients and customers have been really supportive as well. Initially, of course, we all had a little bit of fear, and as a designer, I never thought that mask would play such an important role in my life. But I stopped counting at around 400, and the mask really kept Lawson Accessories open, and I'm very appreciative. Some people had ordered 3 or 4, and then they called back and they wanted 10, and the numbers just kept increasing. And I think it's going to be a major part of Lawson Accessories for quite some time. I'm now tapping into the hearing impaired community with a clear mask, so I'm looking forward to that. But the customers have, the support that we've had has been amazing. And sometimes when I slow down and think about it, I'm very grateful. And it's just a blessing. And I honestly believe that when you've been a blessing in others' lives, they support you and they have you 100%. So very grateful for my clients and customers.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, and Shelby has recently been featured in Lehigh Valley Style magazine, the August edition. She was nominated as a Woman of Strength, so congratulations on that, Shelby.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. That was a joy itself. It was brought on by the number of masks that I've lost a lot of sleep just making sure that everybody, as many people, are covered as possible. So it took a lot of sleepless nights and strength to get through the numbers that were coming through. And I'm a one-woman operation, so it was difficult, but we made it
exciting,
through.
right?
Yes, very exciting. Many of you guys know I love color. And so that just gave me another reason to purchase beautiful fabrics, which is one of my addictions. But it has been quite a journey. And I've yet to find out who nominated me to the Lehigh Valley Style magazine, but I'm grateful. And the exposure for Lawson Accessories has been amazing.
Wonderful.
Incredible. Awesome. Congratulations again. So the next thing I want to ask is also something you guys have all touched on, but if you can just pick sort of the biggest central challenge that your business is currently facing related to how you're conducting your business now. Andrea, if you'd like to start us off on this question.
Sure. So the biggest challenge, I guess it's like 2 really if I had to pick a couple, but not being able to hug my guests, right? Shake hands, that physical touch that we're so used to. That's a real challenge for me because I'm a people person. I'm emotional. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so great to see you. Here's a big hug. I missed you. And then also from, the long effect of this, keeping supplies. Like we are having a hard time getting supplies because shipping is taking 3 weeks when normally you'd have it next day. So we're running out of things that we normally wouldn't run out of. And we're actually a little busier than we were before. So it's like, oh my goodness, we're going through these things and I ran out of 20 volume developer. How am I going to get that? I need that for my next client. But that's the most challenging thing, I think. As far as everything else, like the mask and the sanitization, those are all things, except the mask. We were kind of doing that anyway, so put a little mask on, that's fine. But really just the supply chain, it's insane right now.
I agree with Andrea. Most of my fabrics come out of New York, and normally 24 to 48 hours I would have.
Yeah.
especially coming out of New York, because they were closed in March and April pretty much. And it would take at least 2 weeks. But the grateful thing with Lawson Accessories is because I was already in business and had fabric and had thread and had elastic, and I had all the essentials that I needed to, not even knowing that it was going to go to the mask arena. So I
Yeah.
already had all those things. So
I did like this huge order right before we closed down, and I was so grateful to have all these things right when we opened up. I was like, oh my gosh, could you imagine had I not done that order right
yeah,
before we closed down? We
yeah,
would have been in trouble.
yeah, yeah. So we're grateful.
That's good. So if masks are something that are in high demand, and I'm sure there are people who are watching right now who might be in need of one, how could people get a mask from your store, Shelby?
So they can call me at 484-275-0136, and or stop by. If they place their order, they can, it's a contactless pickup. It'll be in the hallway with their names on it. I can't, because of the demand, I have not been able to put them on the website because they go so quickly.
Oh,
So
wow.
Wow.
they will have to, I can do shipping as well. They are $10 each. I do take donations for folks who are in need of masks but can't afford them. So if anyone would wish to pay it forward, they can, and I'll make sure that someone who's in need gets them. So again, 484-275-0136, and I'm at 13 East Elizabeth Avenue in Bethlehem.
Nice, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Great. And Sam, what's the biggest challenge that your business is currently facing?
Biggest challenge, there's several. Biggest would be we operate, as most of you know, I'm sure, if not, restaurants operate on very thin margins as far as what we profit. And so what we need for that is to be at max capacity. So we are doing okay. We're doing good. But the biggest challenge going forward for us is, the 4 Saturdays in a month that we have, a performance, we have entertainment, we do 130 people in the entire restaurant, and we flip it 2 times. We have a 7:30 show, 8:30 show, and those days feel like they're going to be so far away, but those nights pay the lion's share of our bills. So we're adapting to not having, obviously we have less expenses as well. And so we've been able to kind of navigate through all of this, but it's going to be a challenge when we don't have that, because everything, if we have like a slow Wednesday or a slow Thursday, it's like Saturday's going to be packed. Like Saturday saves us always, throughout the years. It's just like, Saturday will always be, well, it really Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but because it's a Saturday night in a restaurant, if you're not at max capacity, it's like a failure pretty much.
Yeah.
So just adapting to that. Like this past Saturday was okay. Obviously inside was 25% capacity, and then we had the outdoor patio. Obviously that's weather permitting as well, so that will get more challenging as September and October roll around. And so yeah, we basically are losing our busiest night in terms of the volume and the way that it's set up to be. So we'll see. I mean, not forever, but hopefully we'll get it back at some point.
Yeah, and we will. I feel like we will. You just have to stay positive. We're gonna be back to normal. The pandemic is gonna end, and we're all gonna come out of it stronger, I think.
Absolutely, I agree.
For sure. Yeah, I imagine right now for most of your businesses, the financial sort of allocation has had to shift as well. Like how you're spending your money is shifting towards, I need to buy hand sanitizer and masks for all my employees. And for Sam, you had to buy all the tables, outdoor seating. So it's just a huge mind shift in every aspect. So based on all those shifts that you sort of had to make, I'm just sort of wondering what you've what is the big lesson that you've sort of taken from this experience? What have you learned overall? Shelby, if you want to kick things off.
The biggest lessons that I've learned is that I am more tenacious than I thought I was. My creativity has now boiled to the surface and is peaking. And I can do more with less. I've learned that when people care for you, they're going to support you. Even if it's a $5 mask or a $10 mask, they'll support you, and every dime helps. I've learned that I am in the right place at this moment. I am doing exactly what I'm called to do, and I'm in the midst of my purpose. And that's one of the biggest lessons, some of the biggest lessons I've learned.
Okay,
That's
I learned
beautiful.
what
Yeah, definitely. So definitely, I would say nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. One minute you're on the top of the world, and the next minute your whole earth is shaking, and you don't know what's going to happen next. But definitely never lose hope. Never lose hope, and always, prepare for the worst and plan for the best.
Sam, do you have any
Yeah.
lessons you'd like to add to that?
One of the biggest things I learned was our like evolving baseline throughout all of this has been, because we have a lot of overhead. Typically, pre-COVID, every month our overhead is, all different kind of things related to the building, food costs, employees, payroll, all of that, utilities, what have you. We do have a lot of overhead, but through COVID, it's kind of been like almost like a sport. It's like, well, how low can all of our bills really get? Like our payroll has gotten so low. It's been my mom, my sister's in the kitchen. We've had limited kitchen staff. We've been, we don't turn the dining room lights on. We like ACs on power. It's really been amazing to kind of learn what we can, like Shelby said, make more out of less, to really kind of batten down the hatches, so to speak, to just kind of get down to like a skeleton crew and, kind of doing things where we used to have things ordered and sent to us. We'd have to like run out and grab, it humbles you in a way to kind of see like Andrea said too, is like where you came, where you felt before this and how quickly it can, just change in a second. So that was a humbling experience. And then really just the biggest lesson was how things can change, and the way that we have to adapt has been pretty awesome. My mom's at the helm of it, so she's been pretty resilient through all of this, and it's been good.
Yeah, well, great. It's like adaptability has been the huge, overarching lesson for all three of you in one way or another. I want to take some time for you guys to answer some of the questions I've received from the Q&A box. So one person asked, how do you keep yourself and your employees motivated during this time? That's a great question. Andrea, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So what we did when we shut down, I made sure I was in constant contact with my team. So we were doing like weekly, every Monday we'd get on a Zoom and be like, hey, what's going on? Let's talk about something positive that happened. Here's all the education that's available to us this week. Let's sign up for like 2 or 3 of them to see what we need to brush up on. And every time someone's feeling down in the dumps, I'm just like, hey, don't worry, this is going to be over. You know what? Let's go for a walk. Why don't we meet up and we'll go for a walk out in the park and just do something a little bit constructive, and making little video clips and stuff just to try to stay positive. So I definitely kept in contact with my team regularly throughout the entire months that we were closed. And it's hard, like even I need some uplifting sometimes. So even on those days where I don't feel like getting out of bed and I'm like, this is never going to be over. The salon's never going to open back up. I don't know what this is going to happen, and then I'd get a text message, good morning, sunshine. And then it's like, oh, right back up again. Like, okay, we're fine. Let's go for a walk. Let's do some yoga. We're fine.
I have to self-motivate since I'm a one-woman operation, I have to meditate and concentrate on my faith and just know in my heart of hearts that everything's going to work out. It may look different, but we as women, the strength that we have within us, we will all persevere. So I just continually tell myself that. My spouse helps with that, keeps me motivated, because there are some days I live out in North Whitehall. I don't want to drive all the way to Bethlehem if nobody's going to show up that day, but I put my glasses on and I drive over, and those are the best days because so many people tap on the door and wave through the window and say, "Are you okay?" Those are the best days. So usually on the days when I don't want to do it, they turn out to be the best days. So that keeps me hopeful and encouraging, internal encouraging for me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep, for me, it's just, positive mental attitude as much as possible. I mean, I'm in this industry up to my eyeballs, so it really, like Shelby said earlier, you're in the right place at the right time. This is meant to be. It's just, weathering the storm. And for my staff, most are family, so they don't have a choice. But yeah, so we've just been trying to keep an upbeat attitude, and people have been super generous, with the girls and with myself and my family, our waitresses and stuff like that. So it's been, everyone has their days. The first week of April was the hardest for me, kind of like crashing into the reality that, because like we thought we would reopen April 1st, after the first 2 weeks, and then it turned into what we all know that it is now. And so that first week of April was probably the hardest time for me. And then after that, we did some renovations at Aladdin too while we were closed. So that gave me purpose to kind of get up in the morning, go down, and, even though we're closed, we're still working towards, bettering the restaurant and something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Cool. The next is more of a comment, but sort of a question. Says, "You are also impressive. Have you considered working together to support one another? I see a package opportunity here, and I would love to support you all." I don't know who sent this, but hopefully they'll attend later on in the 10 minutes we have afterwards.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I would love to collaborate with you guys.
I have gift certificates available. I can put a package together. Not only did I come up with a candle line during COVID, but my daughter, who recently graduated college, also started her own vegan soap line, which I carry in Lawson Accessories. So
Nice.
it has been, when I tell you the out of necessity, creativity has shown its face. So I love to do it. I think it'd be fabulous.
Let's do it.
Awesome. And next question, what resources did you turn to for help during this time?
Okay, so since I really don't pay myself, which is not a good thing, but I really don't pay myself. So when the packages came out for unemployment and all of the grants and all of those things, the bigger grants, of course, I didn't qualify for, but I did qualify for small business pandemic unemployment assistance.
The PUA.
I did receive that. So that's paid the rent and kept the lights on at Lawson Accessories, as well as the mask creations. So I'm very grateful for that. It's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. So I'm appreciative of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was so lucky enough to be one of the people who got the first round of PPP. So I was able to still pay my employees for an 8-week period and pay some of my utility bills. And thank goodness for the state grants. The state really helped out a lot. And also the chamber, God bless these organizations that were here for us small businesses when we needed it, because, the landlords still want their money, they still want to get paid, and the PPL is still sending you the bills and everything's, piling up. But, if it weren't for these organizations to kind of assist, where would we be? Would we even still be here?
Right.
I'd like to think we would be, but, you never know. So.
Right.
Yeah. We also did receive some SBA funding and PPP as well. So that's been helpful. But it's, it's a challenging time. Even with the PPP money, you hope that we have recently received it. So it will carry you for, I know they adjusted the time period, but then you start to think of if we're still the way that we are at 25% capacity into the fall.
Yeah.
The money will go, you need that to kind of swing back as far as because it's a crutch for right now, but once it's over,
You're lucky to even break even.
We're hoping
Yeah.
that we can, yeah, at that point we can, because before this, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but it was like, yeah, exactly. But it's like to picture where we are now, it's crazy. So hopefully the fall will be good.
Keep the scientists working on a vaccine or a cure or something. Keep them working.
Yeah. That's a good transition, Sam, into the next question we have from an attendee. Do you see the changes that you've made with your business becoming permanent as a result of the pandemic, even when things get back to quote unquote normal?
I think some things will remain. Like I think now that we have the outdoor furniture, we'll always do outdoor seating in the warmer months. And the QR code thing, I have them, they're printed, they're on the table. I mean, I feel like you always have germaphobes anyway pre-COVID, so it's almost like I'll just leave it there as an option if you'd like it that way. Not you know what I mean? Like as in people, whatever. But I hope that the 6 foot, I hope that some of this does go away only because of the nature of my business. Operating at 25% for the near future for indefinitely would be, we wouldn't be able to survive if it stays this way for, at least with this right now, we're kind of suspended in this, we're all in limbo. Everyone's kind of hoping that this, maybe it will be a shift and we adapt and change. And, we're always mindful of, the high contact surface areas and like entrance and exit doors and that kind of thing. But we want the restaurant to be full again, completely full, safe and full. So hopefully at that point, maybe 2021, I don't know. I feel like the next couple months are kind of going to be the same, but I'm hoping that it's not a permanent change.
Yeah. Yeah. And for us, I think we're going to keep the extended hours. So we normally would open at 10. Now we're opening at 8 a.m. and my customers love coming in at 8 a.m. So we'll probably keep that and get rid of this. When we're allowed to, of course.
I haven't totally gone green yet because of such close quarters. I will keep hand sanitizers and masks available throughout into next year. Beginner sewing lessons, I will do one-on-one at a 6-foot table with me on one end and my student at the other. I will probably allow my clients to measure themselves more. There are a number of things that I'm going to keep in place because of, you just don't know if your customers that you are not close to, you never know if they've been safe. You pray that they have been, because you can't just ask when they walk in the door, where you been? But what have you been doing? So I certainly will keep hand sanitizers and mask and hand washing available. I'll probably keep my mask sign up, the sign that says you must have a mask to enter. So there are a lot of things that that will become our new norm, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and also to add, we've been doing video consultations now where we never did a video consultation before. Before it was always in person, before we start the service. Here, let's chat a little bit about what we're going to do, what you're looking for. So now we've been utilizing like FaceTime, Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger for their video chats. And I find that it's so great to be able to do that. And it kind of saves a little bit of 15 minutes of time. And then you have a better idea of how much time you actually need to schedule for the client, instead of just kind of figuring it out when they come in and maybe not having enough time because you didn't schedule enough time. So we'll definitely still kind of keep that around. So that's a great come out of this.
Right, for sure. Cool. I think we're going to take one more question and then we'll start to wrap things up. This last question is, do you have advice for someone looking to start a business during this time? Andrea, you want to start off with that one?
Yes. So if you're starting a business and you're renting a space, I'd say my biggest advice to you is make sure you have some kind of clause written into your contract of your lease that what if another pandemic happens, does your rent freeze? Are you still obligated to pay rent? Or some kind of clause. That would be my biggest business advice. Make sure you have all the contracts the right way.
Yes, make sure you have all of your tax information, your documentation, because when grants become available, if you have not been a good steward over your records, you may
Won't
be
get any money.
won't get any money. Also, I have a fantastic landlord. I came in 3 years ago, month to month, which is very unusual for businesses. Most businesses require you to business leases require a 3 to 5 year lease. So I am very blessed in that. I just asked my landlord, like, can I have month to month? And he said yes. So don't be afraid to ask. That will be my main advice. Ask as many questions as possible. You will get a lot of no's, and that's okay. Become accustomed to no's, and when you get all it takes is one yes. And when you get that one yes, it's just for you. It's specifically for you.
Yeah. Don't let the pain discourage you from starting a business.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely still start a business and take all the precautions that you need to take, as we do on a daily basis now that we're open.
Actually, this might be a great time to start because you're already going in with implementations that will be
Yeah.
required of you. So now may be a great time to start your business. If it's something that's, uh, if it's serving a need, absolutely go for it. I always say pray about it first. That's just me. Make sure you have all the answers that you have and move forward. There are people that will support you wholeheartedly. If it's something that you're truly passionate about, your customers and clients will come. And I always say to people, never chase money, let money chase you. So I say go for it. It's the best decision I made. I had a great job with one of the local hospitals, and I miss the patients, but I have no regrets for stepping out on faith and starting my business.
Definitely. I agree.
Great. All right. Well, I think that's a great stopping point. That's all the questions and time that we have for today. There are a few questions that got unanswered in the Q&A. Hopefully the people who asked those questions are able to stay on for a few minutes here after. And thank you again to Shelby, Andrea, and Sam for your insight and for joining us today. And I'll turn things over to Annette now.
All right. Well, Katie, I want to thank you for moderating today. And I want to thank our amazing panelists today. So Shelby, Andrea, Samantha, if we were together, I would ask for a big round of applause for your entrepreneurial thinking. You are three wonderful role models. I wrote down a few words that I kept hearing in the conversation, about your adaptability, how you had to be resilient, your positive attitude. Again, you each are experts in your field and truly deserve a round of applause for your creativity and what you're doing to meet these challenges that you're facing and keep your businesses alive. So thank you for sharing your stories with us today. Also a thank you for Dr. Richardson for her inspiration and support for LaunchBox Ladies. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our LaunchBox Ladies Council, a group of women entrepreneurs in the community who are essential to helping us bring together programs that we can share with the community. So a shout out to Catherine Bailey, Rita Guthrie, Nikki Gutgold, Dakota Reinecke, Tracy Damiani, Leanne George, and Marilyn Reyes. So thank you to the ladies that help us bring together our programs. Last, I just want to mention a couple of upcoming programs that we have that you'll be getting invitations to and you'll hear more about. So one on August 19th and one on September 24th. And with that, again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And for anyone that would like to stay with us and have some time to talk further with our panelists or talk with each other, feel free to stay on and we will start enabling mics and videos so that we can all have a conversation. Thank you, everyone.